Calvin Weaver, known as Cal to those who trusted his knack for getting supplies where they were needed most, grew up in the sweltering streets of Memphis, Tennessee, where the Mississippi River's hum mixed with the blues and the weight of hard times. Born in 1964 to a family scraping by on factory wages, Cal was raised by his mother and uncle, a Vietnam vet named Leroy, who came home with a limp and stories he rarely told. Leroy's bronze star, tucked in a cigar box on the mantel, was Cal's beacon, a symbol of sacrifice in a world that often looked past men like them. By 1986, at 22, Cal was tired of dead-end job stocking shelves. Washing dishes is dreams bigger than the city's limits. The Army offered a way out, a chance to honor Leroy's service and build a life. He walked into a recruiting office on Beale Street, his hands calloused from years of manual labor, his eyes steady with purpose. "I'm here to serve," he told the recruiter, his voice firm despite the doubt gnawing at him. His mother pressed Leroy's old dog tags into his palm, her hands trembling. "Don't let them break you, Cal," she said, her voice thick with worry. With the dog tags in his pocket, a duffel bag over his shoulder, and a heart full of grit, Cal boarded a bus to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, ready to trade poverty for pride, his pulse quick with the promise of something more. Basic training was a forge. The South Carolina heat a relentless test of body and will. Cal wasn't the tallest, standing 5'10" with a wiry frame, but he was tough. His endurance honed from long days hauling crates in Memphis warehouses. He excelled in logistics training, mastering supply chain management, tracking ammo, fuel, and rations with a mind like a ledger. "Weaver, you could supply a battalion blindfolded," his drill sergeant said after Cal organized a chaotic resupply drill, his hands quick with paperwork, his calculations flawless. But the Army wasn't a haven. A white recruit named Travis Holt, a brash kid from Georgia, took a dislike to Cal's quiet confidence, muttering slurs under his breath during march. During a night exercise, Holt misplaced Cal's supply list, leaving him scrambling to account for missing gear. Cal pieced it together, his memory sharp, and finished the task, earning a nod from his sergeant but a sneer from Holt. He didn't confront the kid. He'd learned early that words were cheap and action spoke louder. By graduation, Cal was a private first class, his focus on proving himself, not selling scores. Stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in 1988, Cal found his stride with the 82nd Airborne's Logistics Unit, the Trailblazers. He kept the unit, running fuel to tanks, food to mess halls, bandages to medics, his precision a lifeline in the chaos of training missions. His crew respected him. Sergeant Rita Banks, a no-nonsense planner from Detroit. Specialist Louise Morales, a quick-witted driver from Miami. And Lieutenant Sarah Chun, a sharp officer who valued Cal's instincts. They called him Ledger for his knack for balancing supplies. But Cal stayed humble, his dog tags a reminder of why he served. Off-duty, he was reserved, sketching Memphis street scenes in a notebook, a habit from his youth watching the river flow. In 1989, he met Angela, a schoolteacher with a warm smile and a passion for history. Over barbecue at a Fayetteville joint, they connected, Cal sharing stories of Beale Street's music, Angela talking of her Nashville roots and her dream to inspire kids. "You've got a fire in you, Cal," she said, her hand brushing his. Their love grew in letters during field exercises, weekend drives to the coast, and quiet nights planning a future. Angela gave him a brass compass, etched with "Find Your Way," a token he carried like a vow. But the Army's undercurrents of prejudice followed him. Major Leland Stokes, a logistics officer with a drawl and a chip on his shoulder, took an instant dislike to Cal, his Memphis roots and dark skin. A target, Stokes, a good old boy with connections, questioned Cal's every move, calling his reports sloppy despite their accuracy. "Know your place, Weaver," Stokes said during a review, his eyes cold. Cal kept his head down, his work flawless, but the slight burned. In 1990, the Gulf War loomed. Deployed to Saudi Arabia for Operation Desert Shield, Cal managed supply lines under brutal conditions, sand-clogging trucks, heat-warping crates, the threat of Iraqi attacks constant. The Trailblazers relied on him, his foresight ensuring ammo reached gunners and food reached soldiers. He bonded with his unit over late-night card games, Banks' laughter and Morale's jokes easing the tension. During a resupply run near Dhahran, Cal noticed discrepancies, fuel barrels missing, medical kits shorted. He traced the issue to Stokes, who was skimming supplies, selling them to local dealers for profit. When Cal raised concerns, Stokes shut him down. "You're out of your depth, boy," he sneered, the word cutting deep. Cal started documenting receipts, inventory logs, witness accounts from Morales and Banks. It was risky. Stokes had eyes high up, and Cal's race made him a target. He wrote to Angela, his letters raw. "I'm fighting more than the war out here," he confessed. Her replies, full of love, urged him to stay strong. When Desert Storm hit in 1991, the war was chaos artillery shaking the earth, convoys racing through sandstorms. Cal worked tirelessly, delivering supplies under fire, his compass a steady weight in his pocket. During a push near Kuwait City, an ambush hit, and Morales took shrapnel to the leg. Cal dragged him to safety, his hands steady, his voice calm despite the gunfire. "You're not dying on me," he said, patching Morales up until a medevac arrived. The war's toll grew, friends lost, their names etched in Cal's mind, joining his nightmares. Stokes' corruption worsened. A shorted fuel delivery left. A convoy stranded, costing lives. Cal confronted him, his voice low but fierce. "You're killing our own men," he said. Stokes laughed, his eyes hard. "Prove it, Weaver, and see what happens." The threat hung heavy, but Cal kept gathering evidence, hiding notes in his notebook, his resolve hardened by the faces of the fallen. Back at Bragg in 1992, Cal wasn't the same. Nightmares woke him, convoys burning, Morale screams, Stokes sneer. Angela noticed the change's silences, the way he flinched at car horns. She pushed him to seek help. But the Army's stigma around mental health kept him quiet. He threw himself into work, promoted to staff sergeant, but Stokes' vendetta intensified. False reports surfaced, accusing Cal of stealing supplies, the very crime Stokes committed. Cal's evidence grew. Photos of tampered crates, statements from Banks and Morales, even a local contractor who dealt with Stokes. He confided in Angela, his voice shaking. "This could end me," he said. She held him, her own fear hidden. "You're doing right, Cal," she whispered, her hand on the compass. In 1993, Cal took his evidence to the Inspector General, knowing the cost. The investigation was a slow burn. Stokes' allies painting Cal as a liar, a troublemaker. Holt, now a sergeant, spread rumors, claiming Cal was unstable. Cal was sidelined desk duty. His promotion stalled. The stress strained his marriage. Angela begged him to let it go, her voice breaking. "I need you here, not fighting ghosts," she said. Cal couldn't stop the faces of the dead, wouldn't let him. The investigation concluded with a slap. On Stokes' wrist, a reprimand, no charges, his connections shielding him. Cal, labeled a whistleblower, was pressured out, discharged with a general rating that stained his record. Back in Memphis, the world felt smaller. The Army had been his pride. Now it was a wound. He struggled to find work, his logistics skills ignored by employers wary of his discharge. PTSD gripped him, nightmares of the desert, guilt for those he couldn't save. Angela tried to hold them together, but Cal's bitterness grew, his silences pushing her away. In 1995, She left, her note simple. I love you, but I can't watch you drown. Cal kept a compass, its weight a reminder of loss. He took odd jobs, warehouses, delivery trucks, his hands still skilled but his heart heavy. A small veteran community, led by an old Vietnam vet named Earl, offered solace, meeting at a VFW hall to share stories and beers. Earl saw Cal's pain, gave him a job fixing cars at his shop. You're still a soldier, Earl said, clapping his shoulder. But the system's betrayal lingered, a scar deeper than any from war. In 1997, at a VFW barbecue, Banks, now a civilian, found Cal. You did what you could, she said, her eyes kind. Cal nodded, the dog tags cold in his pocket, the notebook locked away. Calvin Weaver, a man who served with honor, loved fiercely, and fought for truth, carried the cost of a system that favored power over justice. His life a quiet testament to battles fought and lost, with only a flicker of hope from those who still called him Ledger.